This is Khaladoon, and welcome to Let's Analyze Depths of Irkalla. This is a Complete the Monument map by MoldyBread1 over on the Minecraft forums, and we're going to be spending the next 10 to 15 minutes picking the first 20 minutes or so of the map apart and analyzing the level design, the balance, the progression, and everything that I think makes this a good intro. Now, as I mentioned in the main Let's Play, he has asked me to mention this is still an open beta. It's not quite final. But again, in this intro, there's very, very little I'd change. I think this is one of my personal favorite examples of an introduction for not just to complete the monument map, but maybe pretty much every other Minecraft map I've ever played. So, the very first thing you see upon loading up this map is this stone and vine-covered room with dead center in it, a little structure made of bedrock and logs. Now, the bedrock immediately contrasts with the surrounding area, and the fact that it's bedrock, anyone who's played Minecraft knows that that's not something just naturally sitting around in a cave. So this immediately tells us that this is a safe place. This is almost like the main menu of the map. We've even got the glowstone there to ensure that this place is lit and not immediately threatening. Now, after analyzing the bedrock box to their heart's content and possibly gathering some resources, the next logical thing for the player to do is, of course, look around. Now, looking around the room, there is a little dark patch off to the side, but more importantly is actually the vines. The vines do a wonderful job because if you look at them straight on, then the vines hang straight down and don't provide a sense of depth. If your view, though, is a little bit above the horizontal, then instead the vines all seem to converge upwards to a focal point. Now, mathematically they of course are, but more important is the fact that this draws the eye upward. Players are going to tend to follow the vines looking up and up and up until suddenly they see that they are in fact in a gigantic hole in the ground. Now, I considered loading up Minecraft and actually going into creative, flying up, and just to see how tall that hole actually is. But it doesn't really matter. The important thing is that to the player, they look up and they see that, for all practical purposes, they are trapped down here. That there's not really a way out. In fact, if you look at the rulebook, that also corroborates this feeling. Now, the very first line there says, "A land with no escape." It's a very foreboding start to the map and does a good job of setting the tone. Well, having checked out the bedrock box and looked up to realize our location, courtesy of the vines, there's really only one place left to look. Players naturally going to wander over, look at this big hole in the ground, which is obviously the way to go. It's dark, it's scary, and has a sign to let us know that it's important. I'm going to go ahead and switch to creative mode, and I'll be back in a second. Alright, so here we are in the Endermen's Grove, which is certainly living up to its name. Now, in this place, the upper portion is similar to before. We've got mossy cobblestone, glowstone, stone, plenty of vines hanging down. But now we have the addition of these trees, some little life in the sense of ferns, some mushrooms, little splashes of water, and of course, copious amounts of Enderman spawners. Now, this particular room we're in isn't actually that large. It's decent size, maybe about 60 blocks wide. But in a way it actually feels a lot bigger. Now, of course, one of the main things we want to do in a CTM map is look around. We want to explore, we want to be able to find all the mushrooms everywhere, pick up our food, gather resources. We got some coal over here and wood for precisely that reason. But two things make this room feel, in a way, bigger and tenser than it actually is. First off, we've got the vines doing a good job restricting visibility. And second, we've got all these Endermen walking around. Now, the Endermen here really aren't that dangerous. If they attack us, there's plenty of little too-high tree segments like this one to hide under. And if we're caught in the open and not out near a tree, there's plenty of water to stand in, which will make the Endermen, they'll run to attack you, fall in the water, and just teleport away. What this does, though, is it gives... Well, we don't want to look at the Enderman, frankly. It makes the vines compounded with the Enderman make it very hard and almost unnerving to look around. It gives a good dichotomy. It makes us forced to think, well, I want... Oh, yep, there goes the hatred of water right there, as I mentioned, but this entire room does a good job of kind of taking that urge to explore that... Oh, hello. I'm glad I'm in creative. But the whole room takes that urge to explore and contrasts it, in a sense, with the urge to stay alive and not accidentally look at any of those Endermen. As we start leaving the Enderman's Grove, we actually get some good examples of environmental storytelling. Grove is down here, and off to the side is this little thing that looks very much like an abandoned guard tower, is what I'd call it. Gives a brief little challenge. You got 2 spawners here, which, if you're paying attention and have blocks on your hotbar, won't kill you. And a chest, which in it features the broken sword. Smite 3 on breaking 1, a warrior is nothing without a weapon. That, combined with the fact that this does look very much like a little outpost tower, it's again a good job of environmental storytelling. It's very much implies that there used to be someone here, that this kind of like a bastion or relic of something greater from the past. And in the other direction, away from the grove, we have much the same. This little same kind of thing, very abandoned looking watchtower, blending into the terrain in this case. This not only rewards attentive players for finding it, it is a little bit perhaps off to the side. The iron bars are really what stick out most. But supposing you get up in here, there's a treasure chest there, and then hidden behind the vines a little bit higher is another treasure chest. Now these have 2 items in them. The worn tunic, even the thinnest barrier can save your life. Again, very much implying kind of a warlike, military thing going on. Also implying, of course, that this place is dangerous and you're going to need thin barriers or more. And the ancient bow, may it serve you better than its previous owner. I don't even think I have to comment on that, reflecting on a ancient society of some sort. The next little portion of the map isn't that impressive, but it is certainly functional. We've got a little jaunt down a cave corridor, featuring a spawner with some resources near it, spawners with some resources near it, and spawner with some resources near it. After all those spawners, we come to what's very clearly the final room of this little tutorial section. It's got an increased difficulty from before. There's a second spawner over there, and a third spawner over there, more than we've seen so far. There's this little water feature to provide, to kind of impede movement a bit. And this structure here not only has a nice staircase, but is also the biggest we've seen so far. It even has torches, very clearly indicating that this is the way to go, and definitely implying that this is the end of this little tutorial section. Now, after that, we can go ahead and head down the hall. Takes a moment, and we're greeted to this nice room, which is very clearly the first intersection, if you've played any CTM map before. It's very definitely a safe spot, as evidenced by the glowstone everywhere, and the flowing water helps give it a nice relaxing feel. Now, the next episode is where we'll actually bother to analyze the spider's den. For now, we're going to leave it at this one. But overall, I think the reason I like this intro so much and why it succeeds so well is not because it has good architecture. Many CTMs have those. It's not because it has good level design, balance, and a nice flow. Most have those as well. It's that it has a tone. If we fly through everything tells a story. It uses without saying any words. The decayed objects there, the items that we found, the descriptions of the items, every little part of it gives a feeling of this used to be something great that kind of fell apart. And it does that all without signs everywhere that tell the story, or even worse, signs that are just filled with snarky comments, which is something many Complete the Monument maps seem to be guilty of. So, wrapping up this episode, this has been episode 1 of Let's Analyze Depths of Irkalla. I'm really interested to know what everyone thinks about this, so if you watch this, please go and leave a comment just to let me know if you liked my analysis, thought I missed something, or just thought I was totally making all of this up. Either way, thanks for watching. This has been Khaldun, and I'll see you next time.